Okay, so good evening. It's a little late, but let's try to get this game in. My name is Tenacious Earl, and we're going to play the final game of May 13, 2016 here in the Tenacious Baseball League. And that'll be the Athletics against the Orioles. Athletics are 6-4, surprisingly. A nice start for them. They'll have Kendall Graveman on the mound. He is, thus far this season, 2-0 with a 0.63 ERA, 14 in the third innings pitched, with only one earned run allowed. And Baltimore will send Mike Wright out there, who's 0-1 with a 15.75 ERA. So, not a great matchup here for the Orioles, but we'll see if they can get the bats together. They haven't done so well in the hitting department, and we'll see if they can improve today. For the Athletics, Billy Burns gets the day off. Also, Chris Coghlan back from injury allows him to play second base, as Jed Lowry has been out for a couple games. So, it's going to be Danny Valencia at third, Coco Crisp in center, batting second, Josh Reddick in right, Chris Davis in left, batting fourth, Marcus Semien in short, Yonder Alonso at first, Chris Coghlan second base, Stephen Vogt catching, and Kendall Graveman pitching. And that'll go up against Mike Wright. As I said, pretty ugly record thus far, but we'll see. Maybe he'll turn around this game. Danny Valencia, and I'll get there. Danny Valencia currently 342 average. All these averages for the Oakland A's are a bit inflated, as they have been off to a hot start. And that's going to be a 1-7 double. It's 12. That'll be a fly ball to left and one out. I went away from using my box last couple of games. I'm going back to it now. Coco Crisp. Crisp is 368 hitter. 6'7". He's batting from the left, and he strikes out. So 2 outs. And Josh Reddick, who is batting a .130, kind of a slow start here for the lefty. And against a left-hander, 6'6", and he is going to get an extra base hit out of this, and it's a 7, so it will be a double. Now they are having to hold Reddick on, and it'll be Chris Davis at the plate. 2 outs. And it's a 1-7, and that is a ground ball to shortstop. Now, as I've said before, the plus in advanced would be a problem with them holding a runner on with the shortstop. Although Chris Davis is a righty, so the shortstop is not responsible for the runner at second. So instead, that is a ground out. And the inning is over. So Mike Wright has a good first compared to his previous outings. So it'll be Kendall Graveman out warming up. And for the Orioles, they are having to sit J.J. Hardy, needed some rest, as did Joey Rickard, who started in right. So Manny Machado has to slide over to short, as he made that previous play. Scope at second base leading off, Adam Jones center field batting second, Machado at short, then Davis at first, Trumbo right batting fifth, batting sixth will be Pedro Alvarez at third, Matt Wieters catching, Ryan Flaherty in left today, and Mike Wright pitching, facing Kendall Graveman. And we will get Baltimore's numbers up. Jonathan Scope batting .265, 2 home runs in the early going. Against a right-hander, 5-3. Ground ball back to Kendall Graveman, 3-0. 3 and a 4. Got to look at the pitcher's X chart here, make sure, because the 3 and the 4. And he makes the play, it looks like, a 7. Well, he's an E0, so he does. 1 out. See if I can play this game in relatively short order. Adam Jones, 243 average, 2.6. Well, he'll draw a walk, so with 1 out. Machado at the plate, batting .225, only 1 home run so far. He's kind of due for one here. 5-10 against a right-hander, ballpark single. Today, average conditions, 8 on the singles, 13 for a left-handed home run, 10 for a right. So this is an 8. 1 to 8 will be a single for Manny Machado, and it's a 2, so it'll be a 1-base advance single. And I'll bring up Chris Davis, who is batting a .192 with 2 home runs. And I may have forgot to roll the D20 there for that last roll. So Chris Davis now in a 1-7, and he strikes out. Second out. That brings up Trumbo, leading the team in home runs with 3 so far. Actually tied for the lead. Adam Jones has 3 as well. And 5 runs batted in. He could stand to hit one here. 2-8. And he is struck on out of there. And Graveman retires the side. No runs in the first for either team. So, I'm going to get Oakland's numbers back up. So it's going to be Marcus Semien. Semien at an even 300. 40 at-bats, 12 hits. Hi, Dave S. Good day. He has 2 home runs and 5 runs batted in on the season so far. And a 5-5 against a righty, and that's a ground ball to Machado. He is a 2 E23. So the 2 and the 10 will be fine. Let's check 12 on E23, and he makes the play. So Machado remains clean, and that brings up Yonder Alonso. Alonso batting 160 with 2 RBIs. He has, what, 6 strikeouts so far in the season. Chris Davis with 10 leading the team. And a 3-11, and that'll be a ground ball to Chris Davis. And Chris Davis, a nice fielding first baseman, makes the play. Chris Coughlin has not had much action thus far. 3 at-bats and no hits to show for it. Hi, Beatles. 3-3, and that's a fly ball to right, and Trumbo gets underneath it for the out. So 3 up and 3 down for the Athletics, and we're going to the bottom of the second, no scorer. Graveman to face Alvarez here in the bottom of the second. Pretty decent night here at Camden Yards, and Alvarez, he's only had 5 at-bats thus far, and also no hits to show for it. 3 walks, though. So here's Alvarez leading off. And a 6-12 for Graveman. That means he's going to be injured, potentially. And against a lefty, 6-12, ground ball to first. And that is Yonder Alonso, 2E5. And a 2 and a 4. Some of these checks can be easier than others. 2 and a 4, that's a G3, so he will get to it. And an 8 on Alonso's E5. He makes the play. But in covering first, looks like Graveman might have made a little pull of something here. So 1 and 2 means Graveman comes out immediately. 3, 4, or no, 1, 2 he stays in and gets injured at the end of the game. 1, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 comes out at the end of the inning. 5, 6 he is out immediately. So, and he is out immediately. 8 for a pitcher is 1 game. Now let's see, 30, so 28 starts. The maximum injury is 6. So Graveman is injured. He's going to have to come out of the game. And Oakland, their reliever will have an opportunity to take as much time warming up as possible. So Graveman injured on the 6/12. And not the greatest of nights to have, because they used a bunch of guys last game. That kind of... How is Triggs? Well, Triggs is available, so they're going to have to go to him. I know this is not everybody's favorite exercise. It's not that bad, but I'll tell you what, if we get a second injury in this game, that could be... And the Athletics have had some injuries on their starting pitching, so they are not immune to it. And so we're going to put P2 right here. He'll probably hit the bottom of the inning, and he's going to go at least... So 1 out. Triggs all warmed up. Real quick, Triggs, his numbers so far: 4.91 ERA, 2 games appeared, 3 2/3 innings pitched. So he's probably going to get 3 here tonight. Alvarez against a left-hander, 4.11, strikes him out. And with 2 outs, picking right up where Graveman left off. So Matt Wieters, 2-7, and that is a fly ball to center. 1-2-3. So aside from an injury timeout there, pretty quick inning. So the nice thing for Graveman is that he won't really miss a start. It's just gonna pull him out of this game. So, which is a bummer, because then now we have to do a little bit extra manipulation. Stephen Vogt will lead off here for the Athletics. Vogt batting .407 with 1 home run and 7 runs batted in. But this time he's going to hit a tall pop up to Machado, who makes the play. Make sure Triggs, yes, Triggs is a #1 pitcher's hitting card, and he will hit 1-6. He strikes out. 2 gone. Danny Valencia against a right-hander, 4-3, and Mike Wright gets him to hit a fly ball to left. That's Flaherty, 3-E10. E10 and left, and a 12 makes the play after getting to it, and the inning will be over. Okay. Triggs back out for the bottom of the 3rd. And it'll be Ryan Flaherty. Actually, it'll be Mike Wright. 3-9, ground ball to third base. Can't blame Flaherty. It was a pretty forgettable plate appearance there. So Jonathan Scope, a 6-8 against a right-hander, ground ball to short. 2 down as Semien makes the play over to first, and Adam Jones, and a 6-10 against a righty, and that's a fly ball that Chris Davis gets, and through 3, 0's on the board. Neither team able to muster any offense. 1 hit apiece. 1 walk issued by Kendall Graveman, who is now out of the game due to injury. Coco Crisp will be the first to go up against Wright this inning. 1-5, fly ball to right. Trumbo is there for the out. Josh Reddick, the only hit for the Athletics, against a lefty, and a 6-10 is Triggs. Oh, well, this is Mike Wright. 6-12 is for Wright. So a lefty, 6-10, ground ball to third base. That's Alvarez, 5E65. That's a joke of a rating, and it's going to be a joke of an attempt he makes at this one. 5 and a 3 is a single, and then a 10 on the E65. Is that correct? That's the worst rating you can have in an E1. So it's a single, and it wildly throws to first, and it'll be an E5 to tack onto that. So with one out, Reddick will be at second. Let's see, Mike Wright good at holding runners, so they're not even going to think about trying to steal third here. Chris Davis at the plate against a righty, 5-10. Fly ball to left field, and it's caught by Flaherty. 2 down, as no advancement by Reddick can be done, and Marcus Semien and a 2-5, and that's a single to left. Reddick with some speed, he's at 15, 16, 17 being held on, 16. So 16, and then you've got left field, which is Flaherty, a +1, 17. They will let Reddick score, throw to second to keep Semien at first, and it is a 1-0 lead for the Athletics, and it brings up Yonder Alonso. Semien will try to get a lead this time, but an 11 won't get the job done, so needed a 5. Yonder Alonso against a lefty, 6-5. Normal home run. He's got weak power against righties, though, so this would be a single 2-star if it's a 1-18. And it's going to be a single, and Semien moves to third. So probably a good thing they didn't send him home, unless Coughlin is able to come through here. First and third, 2 outs. And here's Coughlin, and that's a 3-9. That's a ground ball to second, and that will end the inning. If they throw home, Semien ends up at second, and he comes in on that single 2-star. So 1-0. Oakland grabs the lead as they head in many games this season. Manny Machado 1 for 1 with a single, and he strikes out here. So with 1 out, Chris Davis. It's a 6-7 against a lefty, and he grounds it towards second. That will be Coughlin, a 4E11. And a 4 and a 12 will mean he gets to it, but the 5 is a rare play. With nobody on base, the rare plays are forgettable in this. I'm at some point I am going to incorporate the statistician's recommendations for rare plays, but until I can do it for all teams, I'll only be doing it. I won't be doing it. 2-7, and that's a ground ball to third, and getting close to those rolls for homers, but Trumbo cannot get it. So 1-2-3 again for Triggs. He set down all 8 batters he's faced. We're going to go to the 5th, and Wright's got to be wondering what he's got to do to get some help here. So vote leading off the top of the 5th. This is Wright's inning of weakness, 6-7 against a lefty. Struck him out. So that brings up Triggs, and they will let him hit. So, and let's see, he has pitched. Yeah, he hasn't quite pitched 3 full innings, so we'll give him another inning. 2-7, it's a strikeout. We could have done some kind of a double switch back when we had to bring him in. That would have prolonged his need to be a second or get a second at bat. But so Valencia 4-9. Of course, you can't really plan for any of that. 4-9 against a righty, and it's a fly ball to Trumbo that he grabs, and 3 harmless flies from Valencia on the game, and no runs in the top of the 5th. Game's official now, but Orioles hoping for more. Pedro Alvarez 0 for 1. It's a 2-6, and he strikes out. I'm gonna get the game. I'm gonna get the chat feed up here, so try to work that in here. Matt Wieters struck out in his first attempt, 2-7. We got a lot of 2s here. Fly ball to center field, and that's the second out. Ryan Flaherty. And against a lefty, that's a 6-5. Ground ball to short. Semien 3E22. And 3-11. He gets to the ball. 15 on the E22. And he makes an error. So that's an E. Six. It's a, his is third relief, so we are at the edge of his effectiveness, really. He has yet to give up a hit, and even that was not a. But they're going to have to look to get somebody up in the bullpen. They're going to get Fernando Rodriguez, who doesn't pitch too much. And it's going to be Mike Wright. Boy, he's pitching pretty well. You hate to take him out of the game. And Flaherty's just, with being a runner at first, I think you just have to hit with Wright here and hope that he doesn't implode. But a 3-11 is going to be a fly ball to center. Yeah, I mean, he's basically gotten, you know, counting the air, which is a bad play. That should be an out. That's yeah, 12 in a row that he's retired, and I think that will be it for him. They're going to get Fernando Rodriguez warming up. And like I said, you just hope Wright doesn't have a meltdown here. I think they're going to get... Got to look at Baltimore's pen real quick. Yeah, they're going to get... is Bundy available? They're going to get Dylan Bundy warming up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I think it's tough to have him go anymore. So, Crisp against Wright. And 5-12, batting from the left side, 5-12. It's a fly ball to left field. And, I mean, Wright has atoned for his previous outing, which was pretty poor. Josh Reddick, 2 for 2, single and a double. Against a lefty, that's a 5-8, and that's a single for him, 3 for 3. So, Reddick starting slow, but he has a nice 3 for 3 day. And Wright a -4 hold with Wieters a -2. So that brings him down, being held on to you know, 1-10 with 1 out. And with Chris Davis at the plate, you don't want to take the opportunity for a 2-run home run off the dish here. 5-6 against a right-hander, and that's why you might let him go. And I think this is going to be it for Wright. It's going to make first and third at the very worst, and it's going to be second and third. That's a double for Chris Davis. And Wright is... They're going to give him the hook as... Oh, that's the 4th hitter. As... They're going to bring in Bundy and try to... And Bundy is a 12. Wright goes 5 1/3. Okay, so Bundy will face Marcus Semien. They will bring the infield in here, try to cut off a run. Yes? Huh? Where? Against a righty, 3-11. It's a ground ball C. All right, we've got a minor emergency here at the house. This is going along pretty quickly, but again, I'm gonna have to stop this. We've had a little. Let me get this finished up here real quick. At least this at bat. It was a ground ball to second base C. I got to look at infield in with second and third. Second and third, infield in. Batter out, runners hold. So that is going to be where it stops. And where did I say it was? It was a ground ball to second base C. So with the infield in, it's going to be 4-3. Nobody can go. And all right, I'm going to sign off here because I got to help my wife with something. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to finish this game up online probably tomorrow morning. So until then, strat on and have a good night.